Now, this is how I look at investments in general. I look at investments that I feel are as safe as houses. Doesn't have to be houses, but very safe. And then I look at investments that are a bit aggressive, but at least they're sensible, right? And then I look at the ones that are pure kalu kalu or gambling. They're just gambling. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, fine. So that's how I split my investing.
Including crypto.
Including crypto. Now, what falls in each of those three buckets may vary from person to person, right? In terms of what is safe, in my own case, the kind of things that I consider to be safe are things like pensions. If you are fortunate enough to work with a company that they match your pension contributions, right?
Yeah.
So some companies actually do that, where if you invest this amount, they invest the same amount into your pension. Jump on it. It's free money and it is counting against your retirement. Now it seems like, oh, you can't touch that money. Yes, which is why I don't do more than I need to when it comes to pensions. But it's also good to just know it's there. So if you do all the other investments in the world and they all blow, at least my pension is there. I will not starve and beg as an old man. So that one is there. So that one is okay, the kind of things I consider safe. Or things like, just when I was in Nigeria now. In UK it's been a bit harder to find the equivalent, but in Nigeria I used to do money market funds, which for me was also because worst case scenario you get your capital back. The way it operated, money market funds, basically they use that money to invest in treasury bills and all that, as opposed to ETFs that are invested in stocks. So while with ETFs your capital is not safe, with money market funds your capital is safe. Right now, I've not been able to find. I think the closest I've found to money market funds in the UK is still basically all these savings, high interest rate savings accounts that they do, that all these banks do here. Right, some of them do some pretty decent rates. I think Okwemi was sharing. What did she share the other day about? It wasn't her. I think you were the one that shared that one that had NatWest that had 6%, right? So that's the closest I've found to, because your capital is still safe. They won't tell you that your capital has reduced because markets went down. No, your capital is safe. It's just that the interest may now fluctuate. So it may go to 6% today, it may drop to 2% tomorrow, whatever, but your capital is safe. Right. So those are the kind of things I would put in that safe bucket. Some people also do housing for that safe bucket. That's one bucket. Then the second bucket, where reasonable, that's where I love to thrive. That's ETFs, that's stocks, right? If everything goes well, if you look at the last 50 to 70 years, stock market always increases. Do you understand? Once you look at it over a long period of time, the stock market is growing. What may, 1 or 2 years it may drop, 1 year it drops, 1 to 18 months it drops. But in the long term, once you are looking at it, minimum 5-year stretch, stock market is growing. So that one for me is a reasonable investment. The risk is there because if things go wrong, your capital is at risk. Because it's not like investing in money markets where your capital is still safe. With stock market, your capital is at risk. You can put in £20,000 and £20,000 turns to £2,000. It can happen. But then again, it can also happen with almost anything except money market fund. But yeah, so that's the middle one. The third one that is kalu kalu is, like you said, it's for me is like crypto. But even with crypto, you still bury yourself some small sense. So crypto, I don't just do any kind of crypto. I do the ones that I know they will be around for a while. So so something like your what's the name? These are not recommendations. I'm just telling you what I do. Something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been around for over a decade. It will be around for a while. It's not going to go anywhere soon. It's not great. It's not functionally and logically speaking. Bitcoin is even not the best of them. But it's alright. For people that like to speculate, it's the first one everybody knows. But the one that I really think has a better chance than Bitcoin is Ethereum, because Ethereum has other use cases beyond just an alternative for cash. So that those two are the ones that I put money in. Some other people will also tell you about coins that are benchmarked against the dollar, so the value would always match the value of the dollar. Yeah, it's okay, but I might as well just buy the dollar now. Why am I investing in a coin that is matching the dollar? Do you understand? They just go into currency trading and be tracking dollar. You just be buying dollars and buying, So I personally, I don't see the point in that. Maybe if I were living in Nigeria, I would want to buy that as an alternative to buying dollars cash. That last bucket, another example is